Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Devim Sarasvatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet. Before starting the Srimad-Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, we should offer our respectful obeisances unto the personality of God, Lord Narayan, to Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasati, the author. Reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, Prayers by Queen Kunti, text number 6. So please repeat this verse after me, line by line. Yajayitva Shvamedastram Yajayitva Shvamedastram Kalpakai Todyasya Pavanam Dikshu Shatamanyor Ivatanot Yajayin Vashvamedaistam Viruttama Kalpakai Pavanam Dikshu Shatamanyori Vatanot Yajayit Vashvamedaishvam Viruttama Kalpakai Tadyasha Pavanam Dikshu Shatamanyori Vatanot Yajayit Vashvamedaishvam Viruttama Kalpakai Tadyasha Pavanam Dikshu Shatamanyori Vatanot Yajayit Vashvamedaishtam Viruttama Kalpakai Tadyasha Pavanam Dikshu Shatamanyori Vatanot Yajayit Vashvamedaishtam Viruttama Kalpakai Tadyasha Pavanam Dikshu Shatamanyori Vatanot Yajayit Tam Tripi Uttama Kalpakai Tat Yasha Pavanam Dikshu Shatamanyo Iva Atanot
Важно е да бъдеш, че нормално за Махараджа Юдхиштира да била по-малка. Причина за това е, че Махараджа Юдхиштира търчи с предан дар на Бога. Единствено благодарение на милостта на Бога, човек е стигнал до господата на небесните цар, които извършват само 3 яги, върху небесния цар, които извършват позиции. Това е тревожностите на предан давания. Бога за нас е еднакъв към всички, предан давания си по-прославни от останалите, защото постоянно са свързани с най-великото същество. Лъчите на слънцето, които се разпостили на вниманието, но въпреки това винаги има настатка за цари нощ. Истината това не е слънцето, а е висшето състоянието да разстояние с земята. Подобно на това, тези, които напълно са създадени на Бога, получават цялата милост, който се фокусира на момента, винаги и навсякъде. Мокшата Кришна накара Махараджа Юдхиштира да извърши както трябва 3 ашвамедха яги, жертви приношения от мир. Добрата му слава се разнесе до всички посоки на света, също като славата на Индра, който бе извършил 100 000 жертви приношения.
Mukam kruti bhachalam pagam nayate girim yatkripattadaham bande Shri Gurun Dinatarinim. So, here it is explained that the opulence of Maharaj Yudhisthira, his fame, rivaled that of King Indra, the Lord of Heaven.
Богатството на Махараджа Юдхиштира запевнича на богатството на цар Индра, който е владетел на рая.
And that is because of Maharaj Yudhisthira being a pure devotee of Krishna. From material point of view, King Yudhisthira is human being. So it's not possible for someone in human species to rival the opulence and fame of the King of Heaven.
Не е възможно за никой човешко същество, никой, който принадлежи на човешкия род, да сравнява богатство с царя на райството.
But because of Maharaj Yudhisthira's pure devotional service, then by the arrangement of Krishna, his fame surpassed even that of Indra, the great demigod.
Но заради своето чисто преданно служене, славата на Махараджа Юдхиштира дори надминала славата на известния цар Индра.
Yesterday we read in the Bhagavad Gita how if one is performing yajna or sacrifice, if there is no love for Krishna, then that sacrifice is simply a matter of following moral codes, but it is not actually transcendental.
Вчера гледаме Бхагавад Гита, че ако човек извърши жертвоприношение за Кришна, то тогава тези жертвоприношения са само ритуали.
So, it is not that, you see, as we see here, how is it possible for only 3 Ashvamedha yajnas to surpass the hundreds of sacrifices of Indra?
Как е възможно само с 3 ашвамедха човек да надмине стотиците такива яги свършени от Индра?
So that is only because Maharaj Yudhisthira loves Lord Krishna. Similarly, we can see in Caitanya Charitamrita, the great devotee Haridas. He was honored by Advaita Acharya as being better than millions of brahmanas. From a material point of view, Haridas Thakur was very low born. He was not even born as a Hindu, but as a Muslim. So therefore he was considered outcast.
Той вие бил роден в индуистката вяра, той бил мюсюлманин и за това бил извън каста.
But Haridas Thakur had love, pure love of Krishna.
Но Харидас Такур имал чиста любов към Кришна.
He was always engaged in the best of sacrifices.
Той постоянно извършвал най-съвършените всички жертвоприношения.
The constant chanting of the holy name of Krishna.
Постоянното възпяване на святото име на Кришна.
The Harinam Yagya or Sankirtan Yagya. So therefore, Advaitacharya, who is the leader of the Brahmana community in Navadvip, in Bengal, he, when performing the Shraddha ceremony, which is a ceremony performed for the forefathers, he gave the plate, there's this plate of feast, which is to be given to the best of the Brahmins. So he gave that plate to Haridas Thakur.
Когато извършва церемонията на Шрада, това е церемония, която се извършва за братни, той дава подноса с ястията, който се подава на най-дивните от братните, той дава на Харидас Такур.
So, Rupa Goswami has prayed to Lord Caitanya, Namo Mahabharanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate, Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Javishi Namaha. That you are the most merciful of all forms of Krishna who have descended into this world. Because you are giving this most rare achievement, pure love of Krishna. That which is so rarely found in this world. Even it is hard to find in the Vedic scriptures. Only a few great souls like Maharaj Yudhisthira, like Arjuna, and other pure devotees are glorified in the Vedas for having this pure love of Godhead. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu descends to give this most rare benediction away for free. But in return, he's asking us to perform this same sacrifice, the same yajna, as Srila Haridas Thakur performed. That is the Sankirtan of the holy name of Krishna. Now, just like in the yajnas, the sacrifices of ancient times, there was always the question of collecting the proper ingredients and performing the sacrifice very nicely. Just like you see in this verse, 3B, 3 means 3. Maharaj Yudhisthira performed 3 horse sacrifices. And what kind of sacrifices were they? Uttama, they were the best. They were kalpakai, supplied with proper ingredients and performed by able priests. So although Maharaj Yudhisthira performed only 3 sacrifices, they were the best sacrifices that could be performed. And thus, by these 3 sacrifices, Maharaj Yudhisthira's fame surpassed that of Indra, who had performed hundreds of sacrifices. So similarly, in the sacrifice of the holy name, there is also the question of quality. And that quality has been described by Lord Caitanya. What is the special ingredient that is required to make the sacrifice of chanting Hare Krishna most successful? Trinadapi sunitena tarorapi sahishnuna amanena manadena kirtaniya sada Hari. One should be most humble. One should consider himself to be more fallen than a blade of grass in the street. You should be more tolerant than a tree. A tree's business is just to give. You see, a tree gives shade to others, a tree gives its fruits to others. A tree even gives its wood if someone comes to cut it. Otherwise, a tree is tolerating all offenses. So this is also the mood of the Sankirtan devotee. That his only business is giving, not taking. And he's ready to tolerate any kind of offense that may be committed against him in the performance of his duty. The qualified Sankirtan devotee is never expecting any honor for himself, but is always giving respect to others. In this way, Kirtaniya Sadahari, his kirtan, his glorification of the Lord, it ascends to the transcendental, eternal platform. You see, Haridas Thakur, he was glorified by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Namacharya, as the great teacher of the holy name of the Lord. Haridas Thakur was a great celebrated devotee. But he was so humble that when he would see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he would always keep distance. He would offer his obeisances to the Lord and his devotees from a distance, and he would remain lying flat in the middle of the road. He did not like to mix too closely with the Lord's associates because he thought they would become contaminated by his touch. So Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu very much appreciated Haridas Thakur's humility. And he took special personal care of him. In Jagannath Puri, Haridas was personally given a place to live in a nice garden by Lord Caitanya. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to every day bring Haridas Thakur the prasadam of Lord Jagannath. And Haridas Thakur, he never tried to enter the temple of Jagannath because he considered himself too unfit to stand before the deity. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, yes, you simply see the chakra on top of the temple. That is as good as seeing Lord Jagannath himself. But when Haridas Thakur left his body, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally prepared his body for the ceremony of laying it in the Samadhi tomb. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally carried Haridas's body to the Samadhi with kirtan all around. Because Lord Caitanya wanted to show everyone that Haridas's body was completely pure. Because Haridas Thakur had perfectly executed the yajna of the holy name. He had chanted Hare Krishna Mahamantra throughout his whole life in that mood of humility which is so pleasing to Lord Caitanya. So, similarly, those of us today in this very fallen time, in this very fallen part of the world, we are given the same chance by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to become perfect in the Harinam Yajna. We should know that we are very, very fallen, very, very unqualified. And in this mood of great humility, we should try to serve the mission of Lord Caitanya without ever considering ourselves to be great devotees in that mission. Indeed, we should not even think of ourselves as devotees at all. We are simply trying to be the humble servants of the devotees. So if this is our attitude, then Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu will prepare a place for us, just as he prepared a place for Srila Haridas Thakur. This is the Lord Chaitanya's incredible mercy. Our only qualification is that we must receive this mercy with open hands. So that means these hands cannot be grasping anything else. If one is thinking himself, even in the name of being very fallen, very low, if he's thinking that therefore I do not have to fully surrender to Lord Chaitanya's mission because I'm too fallen. I cannot give up Maya. I'm too fallen. If this is our attitude, then we will not be able to receive Lord Chaitanya's mercy. That's not what Lord Caitanya means when he says we must consider ourselves to be very fallen. Very fallen means we must consider ourselves to have no other shelter in this world except the lotus feet of he who is Patita Pavana, the savior of the fallen. One who continues to cling to this material existence, although claiming himself to be fallen, is actually not fallen at all. I mean, he's fallen, but he's not considering himself fallen. He's clinging to Maya because he wants to be the Lord of Maya. He wants to be the master. And thus, when the Lord and his Vaishnava associates come to give him mercy, he cannot take it. His hands are full, clinging to this material existence. There was a man who was standing in front of a temple. He was a poor man, very skinny and hungry. He was a beggar. And to support himself, he was very weak from hunger, so to support himself, he was clinging to one of the pillars outside the temple. So one wealthy man came to visit the temple and saw this beggar. So the wealthy man thought, let me do a pious deed today and purchase some prasadam and give it to this poor man. The man said, yes, here it is, take this prasadam. Just hold out your hands. But this poor man, he was holding on to the pillar like this. So, for some reason, he would not let go of the pillar. He just held out his hands in this way. And that wealthy man, he placed the prasadam in those hands. And then the poor man, he was trying to eat the prasadam by stretching his neck like this around the side of the pillar. But of course, it was impossible for him to take even one bite of this prasadam. All that happened is that by all his exertions, all the prasadam fell from between his fingers onto the ground. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to save the most fallen. But to receive his full mercy, we have to let go of all of our material attachments and take to this Sankirtan Yajna without any distraction. And then we will be benedicted beyond our wildest dreams. Just like this Krishna consciousness movement, this ISKCON movement. It is, the members of this movement are coming from generally very fallen and low backgrounds. But yet this movement has become very, very powerful. Building great temples in India, in Mayapur, in Vrindavan, and around the world also. Devotees of Krishna are being recognized around the world for their knowledge of the Vedic science of God realization. Although mostly the devotees in our movement have had very poor education, except for the reading of Srila Prabhupada's books. Still, a devotee of Krishna becomes famous everywhere for for being able to defeat all other opposing philosophies.
Въпреки това, трябва да бъде Кришна, да се послани навсякъде, с това, че са оборени всички аргументи.
So this is all. These are different opulences. The opulence of wealth, the opulence of knowledge, the opulence of beauty also.
Това са различни богатства. Знанието, богатството, красотата също така.
Because devotees of Krishna automatically lead a very pure life. Therefore, they are very beautiful. So, all these kind of opulences, they are sought after by materialistic people. And the materialists, they endeavor very, very hard to try to obtain just a small fraction of the opulence which is bestowed upon the devotees of Krishna. And the devotees are receiving this opulence only by doing one thing, and that is this Sankirtan Yagya. The devotees don't even desire this opulence for themselves. As soon as these opulences are bestowed by Krishna upon the devotees immediately engage them in expanding Sankirtan even more. So ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paripasate tesham nitya viyuktanam yogachima bahamyaham. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that those who worship me with undivided attention, for them I protect them. I protect whatever they have, and I give them personally whatever they require. But the condition is there. Ananyas chintayantoma. That the consciousness must be fixed on Krishna and Krishna only. So with that undivided attention, we should all endeavor to engage in this Sankirtan Yagya. Sacrificing everything, sacrificing our body, our mind, our words, just to expand this movement of Sri Krishna Caitanya all around the world. Our only goal should be to please Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And by pleasing Lord Caitanya in this way, by our humble service, then He will take care of us in every way, even materially. Just like He gave Haridas Thakur a place to live and brought him foodstuff every day.
същия начин, както той е дал Кришна, направи да стане и носи храна всеки ден.
But most of all, Lord Caitanya, his benediction is this Krishna prema, pure love of Krishna.
Най-голямото благословие на Лорд Чайтанья това е Кришна према, любов към Кришна.
Now, for this we are so unqualified. We are so fallen, so lost. We could not hope to receive such a benediction as this for millions and millions of births.
За тази благословие ние сме толкова благословени, ние сме толкова важни. Нашето положение е толкова безнадежно. Ние не можем да се надяваме да получим тази благословие дори за милиони и милиони хора.
But Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, he is here to give each of you this great benediction.
Чайтанья Махапрабху е дошъл да даде на всеки един от вас тази велика благословие.
No matter who you are, no matter what you've done in the past, what sinful things you've done. Just drop the past from your hands and take this benediction that Lord Caitanya has come to give. Take this benediction by taking up this Sankirtan movement with an undivided mind. So we may say, but, oh, that is so hard. This world seems to be filled with so many nasty, unpleasant people. They don't want to hear about Krishna. They don't want to read Srila Prabhupada's books. And when we approach them, they become angry. Sometimes they want to beat us. So this is too difficult. So we need something more easy to make our life successful. No, don't ever think like that. Because when one is suffering from very serious disease, as we are in this material existence, then one must take the cure which is prescribed by the doctor, even though it may seem to be very severe. Our disease is identifying with this body. So this identification has to be cut. With the sharpened sword of transcendental knowledge. So one who engages wholeheartedly in the Sankirtan mission, he's actually acting in pure transcendental knowledge, and thus he's cutting through the attachment to this body. And someone who tries to compromise who thinks that, oh, there is some other way by which I can become happy besides Sankirtan, then he's only fooling himself.
А този, който се опитва да прави компромис, който си мисли, че има някакъв друг начин, да стане щастливи след Санкиртан, той много се заблуждава.
This is Maya, you see. Maya creates so many false solutions to our problems of life.
Това е Майя. Тя ни представя много лъжливи разрешения за нашите проблеми в живота.
There's a story from Bengal to illustrate this.
Това показва една бенгалска история.
Of a young man whose name is Amar.
Има един млад мъж, който се казва Амар.
Now this word Amar, it means myself in Bengali language.
На бенгалски Амар означава аз съм.
So each one of us, Amar, myself, we are soul. We are eternal servant of Krishna. That is our real identity.
Всички ние, Амар, т.е. ние сме чисти души. Това е нашата бедствена личност.
So this Amar, he had become very sick.
Веднъж Амар много се разболява.
He had a big infected boil on his body.
Излязва един голям силен.
And it was so painful, he was only able to lay in bed.
Той причинява такава болка, че не може само да лежи.
So similarly, we are spirit soul, but we have become infected with material consciousness.
Ние също сме духовни души, но ние сме заразени с материално съзнание.
And we are also, like Amar, unable to act properly as spiritual beings.
Ние също като Амар не можем да действаме истински, духовни същества.
Instead, we're laying in illusion, in ignorance within this material body, engaged in sense gratification.
Лежим в невежество, изгърни в илюзии в това материално тяло, ударни в материалните.
So, many persons, friends and relatives of Amar had gathered to try and help him.
Много хора, приятели, роднини на Амар ще били събрани до него, за да се опитат да помогнат.
His mother and sisters, they were blowing on that boil and fanning it.
Майка ми се стрикна, те духат духовци, зели.
They were thinking that by blowing on the boil, we will make Amar better.
Мисля, че когато върху Амар ще му стане по-добре.
But of course this was doing nothing for him.
Но естествено, аз нищо не мога.
But this is illustrating how sentimental friends and relatives, they may try to help us in our troubled life.
Това показва как нашите сентиментални приятели и роднини могат да се опитат да ни помогнат да разрешим проблемите в живота си.
When we are suffering in our material existence, friends and relatives come to us and they say, oh yes, eat this, drink this, this will make you feel better.
Когато ни е странно да своето материално съществуване, тогава нашите приятели и роднини идват и ни казват, о, изпи това, изяж това, ще ти стане по-добре.
Come, sit with us and enjoy sentimental family relationships.
Ела, седни при нас и се радвай на сентименталните ни взаимоотношения.
And this will make you feel better.
Така ще се почувстваш по-добре.
And so this is only blowing on the boil.
Това е все едно да се, но това е все едно да се вее в сила.
Our problem is this material body.
Нашият проблем това, че има материално тяло.
And if someone comes to try to comfort this material body, then that person cannot help us.
Ако някой се опита да направи, да създаде удоволствие на нашето материално тяло, това няма да помогне.
For we are the soul.
Защото ние сме душата.
And our problem is identifying with this body.
Нашият проблем е да се притесняваме с това тяло.
So someone else, some other friend of Amar said, we should give him an injection of anesthetic so that he won't feel the pain.
Един друг приятел на мен каза, че трябва да направи инжекция, да бъде бойка, за да чувства болка.
So similarly, Maya also presents for us so many foolish diversions by which we can try to take our minds away from the sufferings of material existence.
В същия начин, май ми представи толкова много лъжливи разрешения, които само отклоняват вниманието ни. Ние си мислим, че можем да се спасим от материалното съществуване.
We can read some nonsense literature,
Четем
or we can take intoxication,
или взимаме сгради,
or we can go see some foolish film fantasies.
или отиваме да гледаме да се измислици,
Watch television, listen to the radio.
гледаме телевизия, слушаме радио.
All these diversions may temporarily take our mind away from the ever-present problems of life in this material body.
Всички тези неща временно отклоняват ума, той забравя вечните проблеми.
But just like if you inject anesthetic into someone to make his pain go away, that anesthetic gradually wears off, and the pain comes back. So similarly, all these diversions, they do not help us for very long.
Но както бойката облегчава с известно време болката, но когато действието и премине болката се връща отново, по същия начин всички тези неща не могат да помогнат окончателно да разрешим своята.
Finally, there was one person who said, what we should do to help Amar is we should kill him.
Накрая се намери един човек, който казва, за да помогнем на Амар, ние трябва да го убием.
Because when he's dead, he won't feel any pain.
Защото когато е мъртъв, той няма да чувства нищо.
So similarly, there are pseudo-spiritual processes, impersonal processes, which attempt to kill the spiritual personality.
Това е също като тези псевдодуховни процеси, имперсонални процеси, които се опитват да унищожат духовната личност.
They say that our problem is that we think we are persons.
Те казват, че проблемите ни идват от това, че ние се смятаме за личност.
It's personality that makes us suffer.
Тази наша личност кара да страдаме.
So we should destroy our personality through some impersonal meditation.
Затова ние трябва да унищожим собствената си личност чрез някаква имперсонална медитация.
So, but Amar's father, he did not agree to any of this.
Но бащата на Амар не се съгласил с нито едно от тези неща.
He said to all these people, the women who were blowing on the boil, and the man who said, give him injection, and the other man who said, kill him. He said, you're doing nothing to help my son. I'm going to fetch the doctor.
Той каза на всички, които там, на жените, които духовици, на тези, които искат да бъдат инжекции, и на този, който казва, че трябва да го убият, че нищо не могат да направят с неговия син. И бащата реши да го видят лекар.
So the doctor came and did an examination, and then from his black bag he took the knife, the surgeon's knife,
лекар е дошъл, гледал го, след това от чанта извади хирургическия нож.
And when those people saw the doctor take out the knife, then they all said, "Oh no, this is very dangerous."
Когато всички останали видели ножа, те казали, "О, не, това е много опасно."
And even Amar himself, because he was delirious from the pain, he had become mad. He also started to rebuke the doctor. "Why don't you go home and kill your own son with that knife? Why do you come to kill me?"
И дори самият Амар, който бил изпадал в състояние на делирие от опитна си от болката, той направо ми отгледява. Той също започва да упреква лекаря, да се каже на лекаря, да защо не си пише къща, защо си нещо да пиеш собствената си, защо искаш да пиеш много?
No. But the father told the doctor, "Go ahead, do the operation." So within a very short time after the operation, Amar was feeling much better. And within 1 or 2 days, he was completely cured. So similarly, when we see that knife of transcendental knowledge, which is there to cut through our attachment to this material body, we may, in our delirium, we may think, "Oh no, this is very dangerous, this is very bad for me." How can I give up all sense gratification? How can I engage myself only in the service of Lord Caitanya in this Sankirtan movement? How can I, for the rest of my life, only distribute Srila Prabhupada's books and preach this Krishna consciousness?
Как ще мога до края на живота си да разпространявам книгите на Шрила Прабхупада и да позволявам Кришна съзнанието, без да правя нищо друго?
But you must understand, besides this, there is no other cure.
Трябва да разберете, че освен това, няма никакъв друг лек.
And if we take the cure, then we will see very quickly our material disease, our material suffering clears up. And by Lord Caitanya's grace, we ascend to the transcendental, ever blissful platform of pure love of God. Hare Krishna, so I will stop here. Are there any questions? that I explained. And when one persists in clinging to this material world in some way or other, then he cannot receive the full mercy. These four kinds of pious persons, someone is interested in getting free of distress, someone is interested in getting some money, someone is interested in getting knowledge. But these interests fall short of pure devotional service, which blesses one with pure love of Krishna. When one has love of Krishna, then all needs are taken care of in one stroke. One who has love of Krishna is immediately relieved of all material distress. One who has love of Krishna, he doesn't have any need for money because he is devoted to Krishna, who is the most wealthy. If Krishna gives himself to you, then there's nothing else that you need. But if one is simply after these other things, to be relieved of distress, to get some money, some material wealth, or even to get knowledge, then he does not, in these ways, satisfy the inner desires of the soul. He does not in these ways satisfy the inner desires of his soul. So, what's the point? Yeah, there are so many Swamis and Gurus and Babas. So what do they have to do with Krishna? Like one of them, he wrote a book, autobiography of a yogi. This is a very well-known book. But all this person did, this yogi did, in this book is just present himself to the world. And now he is dead. So what is the use of reading that book? Reading about some dead man's life. What benefit will we get from this? Similarly, all these other Swami, Shiva this and such a big nose that, they will all die. And what benefit we will get? So, therefore, Srila Prabhupada, he said, the difference between them and he is that Srila Prabhupada is presenting only Krishna. Bhagavad Gita as it is. Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita so that we would become free of birth and death. Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tatvata chaktva deham punar janma naiti mameti sorjana. Krishna told Arjuna that if you understand the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities, then you will never have to take birth here again. So this is what Srila Prabhupada has given us. That understanding of the transcendental nature of Sri Krishna's appearance and activities. So what is the use of hearing about the mundane appearance and activities of some ordinary man, even if he has a long beard and comes from India? If there is no knowledge of Krishna, then it is all useless. Anything else?
Don't